Okay, we are live. Pull this up here. There we go. Okay. Turn down my volume so I don't hear myself. Wow, we got a bunch of people on here already, huh? Nice. Hi, everyone. It's been a few weeks since we've done one of these, I know, and I actually did kind of miss it, I'm not going to lie. So, tonight's topic is going to be kind of a heavy one, but it's one that really, as I have people join the group, I ask them, what their biggest struggle is, and I like to get an idea of what it is that challenges people who, are looking for some help. And this is a great way for me to do it, is to kind of find out from you when you join, what exactly is it that you struggle with the most, or while we're, corresponding in the group and we're doing stuff together and we're having conversations, I see patterns happening in some people, and I have people flat out tell me this is my problem and I can't seem to get myself out of it. So I wanted to make sure that this was a topic that got covered because it is very important to so many of you in this group. Yes, Julie, it's disgusting out. It is so bad here in Arizona, guys. I am in Apache Junction, so we are like far East Valley, which means we don't get as hot as like Phoenix proper. And it's still 113 out here. Like, it's really bad today. So I've got like my shades drawn. I did turn off my fan because I didn't want the whirly whirl above me while I'm trying to do this presentation. But yeah, it's pretty nasty out here. Hi, Debbie. So you guys know you're a little bit behind me with the comments. So if I've moved on to another topic, I will come back to address things because there is going to be, again, audience participation tonight. I want this to be an interactive thing, and I want you to use the chat feature in the live video so that we can go over things. We can try and, solve some of these issues you may be experiencing and, troubleshoot, because that's what this is about, right? I am here to help you guys. I am here to help you to succeed, and I want to make it that as easy for you as possible. So, tonight's topic is breaking the cycle of self sabotage. Why do you get stuck? And quite frankly, how do you get out of your own way? Because 90% of the time, that's what's happening, is it's self-sabotage for a reason, right? We get in our own way when we are trying to move forward to whatever goal it is that we are working to pursue. So that's what we're going to cover tonight. There is quite a bit that I wanted to go over, so it's definitely going to be longer than a 30-minute class, but hopefully you guys get something out of it. And like I said, please use the chat feature tonight because I want to know the struggles you go through, and or can you see yourself doing what it is that we are talking about, and is there a way that we can get away from the patterns that you've had for so many years? So let's first talk about what exactly is self-sabotage. And I kind of covered it already. It's when we get in our own way. And normally that is an unconscious, subconscious, whatever conscious decision or action that is taking place. We, we get so used to being a certain way, and our minds learn to protect ourselves in certain ways, and that can not necessarily be beneficial to us, but it can be a detriment. So some forms of self-sabotage are procrastination. I was the queen of procrastination, always procrastinated, even from the time I've, like, my earliest school memories that I can remember, I had always procrastinated. Emotional eating, which is a huge one for so many of us, right? Quitting before you really get started or before you're able to see results happening. That happens a lot. because you get frustrated because we are an instant gratification society, right? I want it now. I want things to see, I want to see what's happening. I want to see the results immediately. And that doesn't always happen. So, guess what? We will self sabotage because we're not seeing results we want to see as fast as we want to see them. Or another thing that I did a lot was staying busy instead of staying focused. There is a very big difference between those two things. So I would love for you guys to put in the chat, have you ever said to yourself, I know what to do, I just don't do it? How many of you have said that in the past? Cindy says she let Chalk Zero in and got out of hand. She knows she can't have it. Sometimes it happens. So yeah, I want to know how many of you have ever said, I know exactly what to do, I just don't do it. And if I cough, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm still trying to get over this virus that I caught on board last week. And then what is one way that you self-sabotage that you are aware of? So kind of what I just kind of went over, you know, some ways of what self-sabotage can look like. I would like to know if you experience that yourself, or if you can say, oh yeah, you know what, I do that. It's a good thing I have my water. Mary Jo said, how do you identify when you're eating your emotions? I'm not always aware of feelings. I just flat out want to eat sometimes. Well, that's when you ask yourself one question. Am I really hungry? Is it your body that's telling you need something, or is it your brain? Excuse me. So while you guys are answering these questions for me, I want to kind of go over the cycle of self-sabotage, the loop, if you will, that we all go through while we are experiencing some sort of difficulty, and that results in us sabotaging. So the first thing is going to be, we get triggered. How many times do you hear that word? I'm triggered. You get triggered. You're trigger. Some people hate that word now because it's thrown around so much. But if something feels hard, if something feels scary, if something makes you feel uncomfortable emotionally, mentally, even physically, or just uncertainty that you may feel about something, that can be a trigger. Did you even think that uncertainty would be something that would trigger you? And those triggers will then turn us to our old beliefs, and usually are harmful beliefs that I'm not going to succeed at this. I'm going to fail. This isn't going to work for me. And for some people, it'll even get to the point where they say, I don't deserve to have this win. I don't deserve this success that I'm setting out to do. And that then turns to us engaging in our protective behavior. Protective behavior isn't necessarily the standard thing that you think of. Like, the first thing that comes to mind when you think of protective behavior is, for me, it was binge eating. That was my protective device. That was my coping mechanism, was to binge eat. But some people, especially with how different the world is now, will isolate themselves. They will hide from everything and everyone. They will endlessly scroll, right? The endless scroll. You just lose yourself in your phone for how many hours? And then you look at the clock and you're like, oh, holy crap, it's been 2.5 hours and I've been on my phone. Keeping busy, right? Not being productive, but being busy. Or you just quit, which is another big thing that happens. So this protective behavior that we participate in leads to some temporary relief. It does. because the avoidance feels good, but that is for a very brief period of time, because then it comes back as regret and shame. Why did I do that? I am so stupid. I can't believe I did that again. And then repeat. And that is the loop that we stay in when we are sabotaging ourselves. So, like I said, this is going to be a lot of audience participation tonight, whether you're putting stuff in the chat or you're writing stuff down for yourself to look at later. I want you to engage in some of these exercises that I have set up for you guys. So, let's say you have a goal, which this is a very common goal for my clients. You have a goal to work out 3 times this week. It is Monday. Okay. Monday is here. You're tired. You skip it. I don't want to go work out. I'm so tired. Monday, it was a Monday, the Mondayest Monday of all the Mondays. So you're tired, you're worn out, you skip your workout. Then what happens? We get guilt. When guilt sets in, that is never a good thing. So instead of, okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow because today just didn't work, you say, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to wait and start next week. It's Monday, guys. Next week is a whole week away. That's 6 more days away. And now you are in that cycle yet again. So have you seen yourself done that? Have you done it yourself? I do it all the time. I'm not going to lie. I'm not here to blow smoke up your guys' rear ends and tell you that I am perfect and I do everything that I am supposed to do, because I don't. I am human, which means I am perfectly imperfect. So why do we do this? There is a lot of psychology behind self-sabotage and why we do these things that we do to protect ourselves. The first one is the fear of failure. We are so afraid of failing that we fail ourselves before we actually fail at what it is that we're trying to do, because we quit. We have a fear of success. Why are we so afraid of success? Because that means we have to maintain it. And that can be hard. It can result in an identity conflict. If you have always had the mindset of, I am not going to succeed at this, I'm going to fail yet again, I can't do this, I can't, then this success that we are shooting for becomes an identity conflict because we are not used to succeeding. And that makes us feel very uncomfortable. And then we have a subconscious comfort in struggle. Like, we are so used to being a failure, or we're so used to constantly struggling with what it is that we're doing, that the chaos we create feels good. It can feel like a hug. So we're subconsciously comfortable in the struggle and the chaos. You know, until you make the unconscious that you are experiencing a reality, the unconscious behaviors will direct your life. And you'll probably end up calling it fate. Oh, if it wasn't for this, how many times I hear, if it wasn't for bad luck, I would have no luck at all. I hate that saying, because you are embracing negativity and failure and the discomfort that is keeping you stunted. I want you to remember that when you have those thoughts or you say those things out loud. because that is pigeonholing yourself into this is what I am, this is who I am, this is all I can be. And that's not the truth. So, how do we break free from a cycle like this? How do we break free from the self sabotage that we have known for so many years? And as we talked about already, might be a little bit of a comfort to us. So, just like with anything else that we are trying to help break these negative cycles that we have been in for so long, the negative mindset that we are stuck in, we have to name it. You have to say, I've got a problem. What is it that I am trying to avoid right now? What is my brain trying to protect me from right now in this minute? Ask yourself that. And ask yourself that out loud. Because speaking takes power away from intrusive thoughts. And then I want you to challenge whatever the response is. Okay, wait, is this actually something that's happening right now? Or is this some craziness that I have thought up in my head that has just completely spun out of control? Or is it just something that I'm used to? Is it a familiarity for me? Rewrite the limiting belief while it's happening. And that's why I say it out loud. Create the tiny micro wins. We do not want all or nothing thinking in our lives. All or nothing has no place in our lives because you want something over nothing, don't you? Wouldn't something be better than nothing? All or nothing will completely destroy and derail you like that. So instead of, I didn't go to the gym, I suck, I fail, I might as well wait another week to do it. Okay. Get outside. Get outside and walk down your driveway. And after you walk down your driveway, walk down the block. And then if you want to keep going, keep going. Otherwise, turn around and come back home. That's a win. Because you were going to just stop and probably plop your butt on the couch and watch TV or endlessly scroll or do something that was not going to be productive. But you going out and taking this 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk, that's a win. Have another glass of water. Like, hello, I drink 2. I'm almost on 3 of these today because I'm so hot, but that's just me. Have 1 more glass of water. Have 1 more 8-ounce glass of water. I don't even need it to be 16.9 ounces like a bottle. Have 1 small glass of water, extra than what you normally do, even if you don't want to. That is a win. Journal. Journal. People hate to journal. They really do. And they'll do anything else aside from journal. But that is a win because it is something you do not necessarily want to do, but it is going to benefit you. Even if it's 1 stinking sentence, I don't care, write it down. That is a win. This is one of my favorite things to do, which is practice pausing before you react. Remember, reaction is emotional. Responding is logical. We don't want emotions to always take over. So, before you react, stop and ask yourself, okay, what do I really need right now? Is what I am about to do moving me forward? Is it moving me up 1% more than I was at yesterday? Or is it going to keep me stuck or even go backwards? Pause and ask yourself those questions. What do I really need right now? Do I need to be standing here in front of this pantry or in front of this open refrigerator? Or do I need a hug? Do I need to take a walk? Do I need to say a little prayer? Practice the pause. And then we learn to rewire through repetition. Yes, practice makes perfect, or at least it makes better. Because trusting yourself is built through the consistency and the follow through. Consistency. That is everything. Then you can learn to trust yourself again. When you're being consistent, you shouldn't have any trust issues with yourself. And keep the promises that you make to yourself, especially these teeny, teeny, tiny ones. After this live, I am taking my nephew to the gym. Do you think I want to go to the gym after working for 8 hours, coming on a live with you lovely people, which I'm not going to lie, I love being on here with you guys. I love talking to myself, but then also seeing the responses that I get back from you on the chat. Do you think that I then want to go to the gym when it's so freaking hot outside right now? No. But guess what? I made a promise. I made a promise to him, but I also made a promise to myself that I was going to get back in the gym 3 to 4 days a week, because I haven't been doing that because I have been so busy. So I'm keeping this small promise to myself tonight. So let's get into some real talk here. I just told you guys, I haven't been wanting to go to the gym. I haven't been wanting to work out. I've expressed on here before, I have like reverse SAD, seasonal affective disorder, here living in Arizona, because my horrible months are not during the winter. I thrive during the winter. My horrible months are in the summer because of days like today where it is so hot, you walk outside and you feel like you can't freaking breathe. So that's something I struggle with right now, which means it is that much more important for me to keep these teeny tiny promises and goals in mind so that I hit them, so that I feel those wins and I have that success that I can look back on and build onto. And it helps me to continue to be productive and to not allow myself to talk myself out of whatever it is that I want to do. This is going to help you be vulnerable with yourself. And it may sound silly, but if you're not vulnerable with yourself, you're not going to be able to be vulnerable with others. And you don't know how much that is going to help you and or help them. Because people are going through the same things that you're going through. I guarantee you that that is what's happening. So some common things that, self-sabotage, restarting every single Monday. Yep, I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to do this Monday. Okay. How's that worked out for you so far? How many of you started over Monday today? I seriously want to know. How many of you had that thought last week and today is your Monday? Put it in the chats, please. You back out of programs or challenges that you sign up to do. Have you ever ghosted your accountability partner? I have. Have you ever given up after a bad day? Because, well, I screwed up. So, okay, F it, throw it out the window, right? That's not what we want. We want to break those patterns, right? We want to create a new pattern for ourselves so that we can push through these triggers that just seem to destroy us week after week after week. So, how do we work through that? How do we create this new pattern? Well, we've got our old cycle that we're going to talk about, and then a new pattern that we can institute to help prevent crashing and burning week after week. So, our old cycle, the old us, was we would have a trigger and we would quit. Right? How many of you can relate to that? How many can agree that yes, that happens to you or has happened to you in the past? 100%. I quit so many times before I kept going. And then guess what? Sometimes I still quit. But then I remind myself, oh no, we can't do that. We got to keep going. So we've got the old cycle of trigger resulting in quitting. And the new pattern that we're going to lay out for us is going to be trigger, because we're not going to get rid of those triggers, guys. They're always going to be there. But we're going to pause. And then we're going to reframe. So trigger to quit, trigger, pause, reframe. Old to new. Avoid and then shame. Old cycle, right? I'm avoiding something, then I feel guilt and shame. Or we can take action when we don't want to do it. We take action, which then shows us evidence of our growth. No more avoid and shame. We're going to do action, which will then show us evidence of growth. And growth is everything, right? Growth is uncomfortable, but it's everything. Proving to yourself that you can't do something. Do you do this to yourself as part of this old cycle that you're in? Do you make it a point to prove to yourself you cannot do something, that you're going to fail at something? Let's stop that. Let's prove to ourselves, I am changing. I am succeeding. These baby steps I'm taking right now are going to lead me miles down the road. Stop proving to yourself that you can't do something and prove to yourself that you are taking action steps and you are comfortable with changing. Progress over perfection, right? I keep going even when it gets messy. I don't fear failure. I honestly fear not trying now. I don't have a fear of failure because I have failed so many times in the past. But my new fear is not trying it to see if I am going to fail or if I am going to succeed. Because let me tell you something, guys. The act of trying is a success. Even if big picture it's a failure, you still had that success on your way. So I want you guys, again, put in the chat here, what is one thing that you have thought of while we've been on here that you're ready to stop self-sabotaging? You're ready to stop sabotaging yourself in what area? What is one thing that you're ready to stop sabotaging in your life right now? I would love for you guys to put that in the comment and share it with others. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Because the thing with sabotage is that you're not broken. You are conditioned to behave in a certain manner that you have thought has served you for all of these years. It's just habit. It's what you know and what you've become comfortable with, even if it's to your detriment. Self-sabotage is just a pattern. It's a pattern you have learned through all of these years. And patterns can be adjusted. You can change your path. You're not stuck feeling the way that you're feeling. And the goal is not to be perfect, because that is an impossible achievement. But you want to be consistent and persistent in these goals that you've set for yourself. It's not about perfection, friends. It's about being better tomorrow than you were today. It's about being better today than you were yesterday. I was a sloth yesterday. I did nothing. So today, of course, it's Monday morning. I have to get up and I have to get ready for work. But I also have family in town. And I've got plans that I have set up for that. So guess what? I am definitely doing better today than I did yesterday. And I'm going to do better tomorrow than I did today. And maybe it'll be a little bit better for me. Maybe it'll be a little bit more positive for me. That it's not going to cause me to suffer. And it's not going to be as dreaded as I think it's going to be, because I'm just doing it. So, all right, let me see if I've got any new comments in here, guys. Sorry. Oh gosh, I missed so much. All right, baby steps are better than no steps. 100%, Evelyn. You tend to put yourself down and call yourself fat. No. That is a self-limiting belief that we need to break. So, what do you think that you can say to yourself instead of, I'm so fat? What do you think would serve you better, Evelyn, than having that intrusive thought? And when you do have that intrusive thought, does it lead you to do any sort of action? Negative action, harmful action? Sorry, guys. I know I'm so far behind with the live versus what playback is. Yeah, Cindy said that, Evelyn, you're such a special person. I just had the opportunity to meet Evelyn on the low carb cruise, 2 weeks ago. And you talk about somebody that just emits light. That is Evelyn Beatty right there. She's absolutely incredible. So Evelyn said, I am not where I need to be yet, but I am still moving towards the goal. Let me tell you how dedicated Evelyn is to making sure she keeps moving towards that goal. While I am sitting at my table on the cruise, eating sugar-free dessert every night. I was on vacation. She managed to con the kitchen out of strawberries and whipped cream for her desserts when it wasn't even on the menu. That right there is a huge action step. When I was told that that's what she was doing at dinner, I was like, why didn't I have this girl at my table? Oh my gosh, she would have set such a good example for me. But yeah, Evelyn, you're not there yet, but you're better today than you were yesterday, right? You're better today than you were on the cruise, and you were rocking it on the freaking cruise. When we have a buffet of carbohydrates and madness available to us basically 24/7, you chose the right decisions. You did not eat sugar-free desserts every single night. Truth, right? If I'm not going to be honest, I might as well not be on here, guys. So, yep, Evelyn, you've got it right. You've got that reframing down. You have gotten that old cycle out, and you're implementing the new pattern. That's all it takes, is one little thing like that. So, all right, guys. Well, if nobody has anything else that they need to fill in or go over tonight, then I am probably going to go ahead and end this, because what do I have to do? I have to go to the gym, which means I have to go outside, which is going to be terrible. I have to leave my bubble. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. I hope this helped you. The conversation doesn't end here. You know, you're going to have this replay available to you, but you've got the group available to you. You've got me available to you. So keep the conversation going. If you need help reframing something, please post about it in the group. Allow yourself to be vulnerable to the rest of us. Allow us to help you and be there for you to support you, because that's exactly what this is all about, is making sure that we all succeed in even the tiniest way possible. So everybody have a fantastic night. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. Don't forget, July challenge starts tomorrow. Intentional movement. Let's do this, kids. Bye.